Well, Renee, thank you for participating in this interview and in this video. Could you first tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you became the IT leader? I know you have other roles within your position, but how you became the leader in IT in Safelite AutoGlass?
Sure, no, great question, and thank you for having me today. Really, when you look back on it, I started on my journey in operations, and with operations, stores and companies started really looking at what does the customer experience look like, and I grew into a customer experience leader. And from there, starting at Safelite AutoGlass, we also added brand to the customer. And it was around how do we communicate the promise that we deliver to our customers through our brand. And as we continued to develop on our brand journey and our customer experience, it became more and more apparent that here it is 2013, and technology is such an integral part of how we interact with a customer. And if anything, with the invention of the smartphone, it really changed things and made it so the customer was in control. And so we decided to attach technology with it so that we could enable things for our customers faster rather than having technology having its own agenda.
From a strategy point of view, how do you see Safelite using technology in the future?
So as we started on our customer journey, we really had a dominant and really premier phone channel. And that was about it. We had a website that had a lot of information on it. It took a lot of time to read through. It wasn't user-friendly, and we said, let's stop this. We're going to build a state-of-the-art web experience that's mobile responsive in design. And so, of course, that involved technology. And it included a different way for us to interact with customers. And we've continued to build out all those channels. And at the end of 2016, we were happy to say we completed our first phase of omni-channel, meaning our customer never has to repeat itself. And so now, to be able to support the technology team, we needed to share with them, as we're on this customer-driven journey, what does that mean to them? How are they really going to need to transform to be able to support a business that's now going to accelerate that customer experience? And so we introduced bimodal IT in the past year. Wow. And that's been a big change, introducing DevOps, talking about a mode 1, where we call it protect this house, because only we can give away our brand reputation. Sure. And then we also have rolled out mode 2, which is the faster mode, things that are less risky. How can I make dynamic change to really support our customers and associates and how they want to interact and make it easy for them?
What are the top 2 either priorities or challenges that you see now or in the next couple of years for you?
So I would say for us, it's really about how do we move from being a build-it-yourself, do-it-yourself shop, where we created a lot of our differentiating solutions on our own, and they're very hallmark to us. And now how do we start to create an IT organization that can actually adopt platforms to move faster, that we actually have APIs that are serviceable, that we can then also work in 2 different modes. We really needed to figure out a way to not only cherish the things that have brought us along to where we are today, but then also be able to move faster. So that's what I would say would be our first challenge. Our second challenge is keeping up with the amazing growth we're experiencing. And so now you're trying to not only grow and add on, but also move to the cloud. And you want to do that in the really smart ways, but at the same time, it's not easy because you're already behind. You're already gurgling and your growth is catching up with you. And so we've really been also working on that.
You're comfortable with it. I'm sure it's a challenge, but I want to see what your opinion is, because that's something I hear from executives that is becoming a challenge, prioritizing which projects to work on first.
Yeah, well, we have a leadership team who is really committed to helping us when we hit those challenges, so we're very fortunate in that aspect. But what we did do this year was when we went in and we looked at our funding needs for the upcoming year of 2017, we placed reserve funds into our budget. And we placed those reserve funds around the customer and around the associate and any kind of growth sustainment, so that we knew we could always be stable, we could always serve our clients, and that we could always do things that we thought would make a huge difference in the experience. And we then keep those reserve funds and we go and we share projects that we think could be successful with the business, and we ask for the release of those funds. So it's kind of given us a slush fund to work with that keeps us able to keep moving.
So do you anticipate a lot of changes in the structure or the design of the IT organization?
Yeah, I'd say that we have launched most of our changes that should last us for at least the next 2 to 3 years. I don't think many of them will change that rapidly. I think the introduction of enterprise architecture has been really key for us. We didn't traditionally have architects here at Safelite, and so for us, that's going to help us build our roadmap, and they'll guide us in how we need to form and morph some of those existing teams. But I think the function of DevOps in Mode 1 and Mode 2 will last us for quite some time. Even though who's on those teams and how those different systems are built and what mode they move in and out of could change, those things will stay pretty consistent for a while.
How do you see the CIO role in general changing in the industry?
I actually don't know if it'll be consistently changing. I think that every company has to make that decision for themselves. I do believe, though, that the CIO has got to be best friends with the CMO. And it's also the CCO. And the reason that I say that is even if they keep a unique role, it's very important that they understand the business strategy and where do you want to go long term. So it's not about let's just get that done for that business leader because they need it, but it's really about what's the service that we want to provide? Where do we want to be in the future? Do we want to add other companies to our portfolio? Do we want to be able to develop in different areas? And how fast do we want to be able to release things and manage them? And so whether you're a products company or a service company, that could really look very different for a CIO. So I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all. What I do think is that they need to be at the strategy table.
Okay. The next question is, what advice would you give IT professionals in general, not the leaders, not the CIOs or CTOs or the vice presidents, but more of the people working in the operations like, developers, IT managers, and so forth?
Yeah, I'd say I'd give them kind of 2 pieces of advice. The first one is you have to be a great people leader because the people in IT, they are people. And you need to be able to take care of them, help them in their development, really foster them on their career path, and you will get so much productivity and retention in a very hot job market that it will pay you back threefold. The other thing is, I would say look up, right? Look up, look out, look across industry, really know what's changing, but listen to it from the customer's lens. Do not listen to it from what's cool in IT, because those things come and go. But what's really used in society will be the things that we'll need to be great at. And so how do you keep fresh? How do you find a way that you can develop yourself? Because when you stay tenured too long in a certain role or a certain development path, it can harm you long term if you don't really pay attention and take a chance and look around.